Okay, so we just got done seeing X-Men Days of Future Past. We had to go see it early, and we're doing an outside review right now because this guy
gotta work later.
Has to work on later. So, by the way, spoilers. Give a quick grade and what your overall thoughts were.
Overall thoughts, it was a good movie. Like it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. Like I would recommend other people see it. I give it about 6 out of 10. Like, cause you know, it could have been better. Like most movies could, but I know what it wanted to accomplish, and it accomplished that. And so, but I enjoyed it. Like I didn't hate it as much as I hate all the other X-Men movies. So that's a positive for me.
Okay. Some people might be a little bit surprised by a 6 out of 10 being an enjoyable movie.
That's a 60%. So.
Nah, true. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for me. I liked the movie. It was very entertaining. I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, which was essentially resetting everything. They realized, hey, we fucked up with X-Men 3 and X-Men Origins, so hey, let's kind of reset and say that, you know, those didn't really happen. There are some parts that they could have done better. There were some parts that were
like the slow parts felt really slow. It took a while for it to get started, like the pacing and everything started off. Like the movie opened amazingly. Yeah. That was just great. And then it was like, all right, now we have to do this. I was like, okay. So when they got started on the path, it was just slow build, and then it was like where it went, like the Sentinels played no part. Like the release of what the Sentinels look like, they still look terrible, but they really played no part in anything. Like the threat was we have to stop the threat before it was a threat type of threat, so it didn't really feel like a threat because you saw the aftermath, but you didn't see the threat as it was happening. So that took away from the movie for me. But the parts that worked. Like Fassbender was amazing, and McAvoy was amazing. Hugh Jackman was there. There's no point to Nicholas Hoult or whatever. That really felt like no point to him. It was just like the old guard, because he's going to be something bigger later on that we have to keep him around. And he was wasted in this movie. They could have used him better.
I don't agree, but I don't really disagree either. I like pretty much my main thing with the film was that it wasn't a Wolverine movie. It's not a Wolverine movie in any sense. Yeah. So that was one good thing, because after, you know, news came out that they were sending him back in time, which I understood when it first came out. I got it. He's the only person that can really be sent back to a younger self, a younger conscious.
They don't explain how Kitty possessed the power, though. That's one thing that you see her using her known power, and then it's like, oh yeah, I can also send people back in time, and it's accepted. And it's like, when do you get that mutation?
And you know what? That's true. That's one of the things. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that that's a really big detractor, because it's like, hey, somebody has to do it. And I guess, I'm not gonna see, this is a good movie, and as long as you don't try to wrap your mind up in the time travel aspect or trying to figure out how things work too much, it's a very enjoyable movie, because there are still a lot of questions, and questions pop up anytime time travel is used as a plot device in the movie, plain and simple. But I stick with my 8 by 10. I recommend people to go see it. I may even go see it again just to get it takes multiple. I can say now that it will take multiple viewings to watch. But yeah, so it got an 8 out of 10 for me.
One of my main problems is my brother does not agree, but it was not an X-Men movie to me. It just did not flow. Like it wasn't a team aspect to it. It was one member from First Class plus a future member from the previous trilogy and Professor X teaming up with, and it's not even a proper team up, it's in and out quickly, how fast okay, we got to break him out, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to help, and then it just falls to shit, like as soon as they start try to do what they're supposed to. So the X-Men title is misleading to me, at least. Quicksilver was amazing. I have to give it that.
Yes. Quicksilver, like you said, I disagree with it being an X-Men movie. I say it does this job of giving team members stuff to do, and it might not be exact iterations of particular generations of teams, but I still think it's enough of the X-Men members there that it counts as an X-Men movie. And like, even though Quicksilver still looks terrible, his scene does steal the movie.
Like it keeps you, it's like, oh, this, if they're doing this really quickly, I want to see where it goes. I mean, they hit you with something amazing early on, and one of the reasons that I don't believe it's an X-Men movie, because basically all the X-Men are in the future, and it's just them guarding Wolverine while he's going back, and then toward where they're close to change in the past and everything is when something happens for them to do. And leading up, and a bunch of the characters dying, I get why I'm supposed to care about them, but I don't, including the characters who died from the previous films. Like, the previous films do nothing to make me care about those characters, so their death on screen is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get the whole lack of development and everything like that, but they really do give you, just like how, let me get this right, just like how most of the X-Men films focus on Wolverine, and then First Class kind of focuses on Magneto more so than Xavier. This movie really gives you a reason. It really develops Mystique, Xavier, and Magneto. It does a really good job of doing that, and that's where I'll give it its props as far as not making it a Wolverine vehicle. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to work out the sequel, which has already been announced as X-Men Apocalypse, because apparently it's supposed to take place in the 80s and the movie ends in the future. So I really want to see what they're going to go at that. So once again,
what are your hopes for the sequel?
My hopes for the sequel are that we'll get, the after credit scene has leaked already online. So Apocalypse shows up in the after credit scene. My hopes for the sequel is that they'll do a little bit better. I think my hopes for the sequel is that it'll be more of a team up movie. So I expect to see an Avengers type of team up to fight Apocalypse. They've already reset everything. Everybody's back. And so I don't think there really needs to be much development with some of the characters. They really need to, or at least some of the characters on their own. I expect to see development amongst the characters as a team and give us, you know, how Cyclops is a strong leader and everything like that. And I hope to see Apocalypse done great. I mean, there's not a lot you can do to mess up Apocalypse. So I don't expect them to like go off the rails, especially when they've acknowledged their fuck ups with other movies. And so, yeah.
My hopes for it is, I want them to make, like, I want a strong Cyclops in this movie. Like, you brought him back, now do something with him. He was so fucking useless in the first two movies, and then you kill him in the third. So make him what Wolverine became, like, just immensely popular. Like, so Cyclops is hands down my favorite X-Men, dating back to the animated series. So I want, and in the comics, I want them to read a bunch of shit where Cyclops is just badass and somehow manage to put that on screen while keeping his team-oriented thing going. So expand on the team, make it a team movie, make it a believable team where instead of it's this guy plus these background players. So I just make it a team movie. Make it what the Avengers is. Like, a bunch of people coming together everybody has like equal, like people have standout scenes, but everybody's on equal footing. That's what I want the next movie to be. And I want you to give me a badass apocalypse. Like make him feel like a threat to me. Like there really felt like there was no threat in this movie except for what the future might become.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Like expand upon, make this a threat, and a threat that you believe that they might. Like if you have to, make it a two-parter, make it feel like they can lose this.
And the Four Horsemen were also in the after credit scene, so I'm looking forward to see what mutants they're going to use for the Four Horsemen. So that's all I have to say about it. Maybe we'll get together if we go see it again and then do a second review for it. So 8 out of 10 for me. I give it a B.
I'll give it a 7.5. Because thinking back on it, I like my level of enjoyment leaving this. This is the happiest I've ever been after seeing an X-Men movie, and that alone shocks the shit out of me pleasantly. So I have to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Alrighty, so maybe we'll do another review after we see it for a second time, maybe not. But anything else?
Bruce.
And I am the White Sox guy. Peace out, people.
All right.